everyone to the caster desk for our first series in MSI as it's time to meet the teams. To the surprise of absolutely no one, the house favorites, T1, reigning world champions. You heard it from Daejeon, heavy favorites in today's series. A team with, I think, pretty good chances of making it out of the play-in stage, but their opposition, hoping, praying we see Team Liquid Alienware rise up today, find that form, give that faith back to Azael.
And right now, Dracos, before we get into game, equal chances, okay? Equal chances of moving on.
Everything is a 50-50,
you know,
technically.
We're not in Summoner's Rift yet, okay? So
that's true, that is true. Team
Liquid here, loading into the Rift, and I like the analyst that's setting up a lot. You know, we had multiple interviews from Spawn talking about how it has been his goal ever since becoming a coach in North America to take down T1. And past iterations, you know, he's been able to take games off them. So we'll see. They certainly are the favorites here in T1. World champions, as you say, and they also just released the extra swag skins from being the most recent world champions. I have to say, those are looking pretty clean.
You are perpetually getting dunked on by T1 in terms of the swag department. They've got a Riftbound box coming out. They've got skins coming out. You're not going to match them there, but what matters is matching them on the Rift. And as we go into Champions, like a reminder, we are on 16.13. Look, it's a new patch. A lot of things have changed. And while a lot of different regions played on different patches for their playoffs, 12 and 13 pretty big patches in terms of changes to balance. Maybe we see the return of more melee-focused supports, but just a lot that we're going to have to find out. Maybe the mage infestation that Raz talked about is also going to come to fruition.
Personally, I've been having a lot of fun with Silas. I've been playing jungle Silas, but you can play in mid also, obviously. And he got pretty big buffs on the patch, too, so I think that's a little crystal ball, possible champion to take over. Syndra too, getting a lot of rumors there about being much more powerful now too. So always exciting to explore new metas when you get to international tournaments. And right at the beginning of the tournament, Dracos, is the perfect time to surprise and perfect time to strike.
The perfect time for us to be careful about being too overconfident in some of the predictions, but I think Syndra does feel like a safe bet. Buffed and was already looking pretty oppressive, and we're seeing a lot of the mainstays from the previous meta still banned away. Cassio hit a little bit in base stats, still immediately going to get banned out.
And this is good research here by T1. They're just kind of emulating what Lion did very successfully versus Team Liquid in our finals. Take out the Nefiri away from Jose, and of course CoreJJ's Recon. Also extremely fearsome, and they use these champions. Number one, Jose won first team all-pro jungler with very aggressive looks on a lot of AD jungle champions. Meanwhile, CoreJJ is paramount, is critical for the engages for this TL team when they get to those team fights. And they rounded out with a Nocturne here as well. They don't want to fall prey to any of those denial of vision plays. And maybe T1 want to play some side lanes as well. We'll see.
What is the angle going to be? Nocturne hit a bit on the patch, but again, just prioritizing comfort. Varus, another champion who was pretty heavily nerfed, adjusted to support more attack speed later in the game, but really trying to take that lethality and that early game top lane Varus down a notch. And here is the Orianna, immediate pickup from Faker. It did get nerfed, but this has been such a high priority champion across the world for this entire season leading up to MSI.
Yeah, and Faker is pretty good at that champion.
Okay, but what champion could he have picked where you wouldn't have been like...
Okay, here's what I want to set it up though. So Orianna did get nerfed, and you can play Akali, Quid's best champion, quite probably, into it. So I'm hoping that Team Liquid have intentionally set this up to put pressure on Orianna. Bard is a good start. Akali is another champion that can put pressure on Orianna in side lanes. If you can burn Orianna's flashes and put lots of pressure there, then maybe you can take advantage of her being low mobility.
Yep. Bard's early game hit a little bit, losing some of the damage on the passive, but still offering immense utility, especially against an immobile champion like Orianna. Does have the movement speed steroid, but still, if if Bard is in the area. Pretty hard to get out of that Tempered Fate. Paired now with the Caitlyn, a bot lane classic. Trap, Tempered Fate, Trap. You can just get so much damage down, and if anyone on the side of T1 is caught sleeping or out of position, pretty easy 100-0 option for Team Liquid.
Yeah, definitely a very, very popular combo, and it does make me feel a little bit better. I was most worried about bottom lane. We'll see if that changes or not with what Peyz and Keria decide to go for. Plus, Daniel, it's always critical not to give Keria Bard, so getting the Bard out in Fearless in game number 1, even if Bard was nerfed, I still would definitely never want to give Keria Bard, so that's my favorite part of this Bard pick by us, is that Fearlessly out for the rest of the tournament. But oh man, if we get like Mel Camille style stuff here, that would be equally as scary.
It's a little bit of tension, you know, when the second you see the Bard locked in, does have a pretty oppressive level 1.
Oh, got it. Yep, it's happening. I do it. Okay, well.
What? And this is the thing, Kobe, is I want to praise you for instantly locking in that those are what the picks are going to be, but I feel like it's not a good look for your boys, because this is a terrifying bottom lane.
Yeah, Keria is definitely very good at the Camille support. The Camille support's not like a support champion that everybody can play, but when you look good with it, you know, Keria on and these types of players that can roam really effectively and put so much pressure on other lanes too. Definitely very, very scary. Now, since we suspect and we think that it's going to support, what chances we could leave open the 0.001% chance that you know, they decide to swap it and give it up to Doran, but that's not going to happen. But here we go. The Akali does also make me feel a bit better. That's what is expected.
Yeah.
Giving over the Orianna, who, by the way, is squishier. That was part of one of the nerfs, taking down her base HP. So maybe here, Quid, at least Team Liquid, are setting their players up with champions that they are very comfortable on and setting them up for success here. So let's see what else they can do to try and put more pressure on those mages in the Mel and the Orianna.
And as we enter the second phase, because both teams have effectively matched short of some flex picks, bot lane and mid lane, it opens up kind of target banning, limiting one pool. Both teams thus far opting for jungle. The Vi taken away from Oner, the Xin taken away from Josedeodo, which he had a phenomenal game on. I think the last time he played against T1 was MSI 2024, as well as in that series versus Cloud9. He really was the linchpin for bringing this team, you know, surging into that series. So not surprised to see it taken away. Poppy now also banned, one of the champions we mentioned who might see her way back into the jungle, but also is just really good into Camille.
Yeah, also good into Akali. So they also do not want Akali to get stopped. They need Quid to be the superstar here. Plus Oner, he's kind of good at Vi and Poppy, so also very good target bans here. Jungle getting whittled down very heavily though, so that is the real takeaway after this. And let's see how deep we do get here for Jose, because Jose did a lot of heavy lifting for Team Liquid in our regular season and in the playoffs. Now, they did already previously use the Shyvana once, although unsuccessfully. And okay, nice. I wasn't fully on board, so I'm happy with the
I can hear it in your voice when you're skeptical, Kobe. I think the fans can too.
Because Wukong, a champion like Wukong, could put more pressure on the Ori and the Mel. I feel like than you know, Shyvana, unless Shyvana like takes over the whole game and you know, is able to snowball and get huge CS leads. So we'll see here with the Wukong putting the extra threat of another flanker, another dive champion here onto the T1 carries. Meanwhile, we did talk about those T1 skins, Daniel.
We did.
So,
and the struggle is, while we were really excited to take one champion away from Oner, it turns out another Oner champion just rears its head. It is the Xin. Small nerfs mostly to the people who are playing AP solo lanes, but this is a champion who can be so oppressive and really shut down a lot of that dive.
Yeah, and Oner's insane on it. And honestly, I think it would be an honor to be defeated by Oner wearing his skin.
Kobe, no, bro.
If he
more hope. You need more hopium, bro. We need to get you set up with the
Now, I actually do really like what we went for. You know, our strategy for the Okay, here we go. The Yasuo.
All right, let's talk about, but we'll hold on to the Yasuo for a second. T1, a lot of AP heavy composition, balanced out by the jungle top side. Really good team fighting, but champions who are going to be vulnerable to that Bard on the opposite side, Team Liquid Alienware are cooking up something special.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking for the counter picks. We want to invest into Yasuo, into Gnar. This is one of the most classic, longest standing, looking for you know, kills on the Gnar in mini form. Yasuo can choose these trades very effectively. The only thing is that both the Yasuo and the Akali are going to have to wait for Wukong to get towards level 6 to have the really big impact, but especially if we could blow an Orianna flash early on in this game, you know, around like level 5 or something like that, and then you look for the repeat play towards the Orianna when Akali does get level 6 and look to get your first blood, try and snowball that way. I think it is very possible. Like, I'm seeing the vision from Spawn and from Team Liquid. They're like, okay, you know, hopefully we're going to get pushing, you know, bottom lane, and we're going to be able to get like a Bard roam towards mid, burn this Orianna flash, and then we're going to be able to capitalize on that when we have Wukong and Akali ultimates. But we'll see, because Yasuo into Gnar on the top side too, very volatile, so resources could be spent up to that side of the map.
Something we will be tracking, of course. Expectations as we see a departure from the range supports is that bot lane, you know, they may be left on their lonesome. We might see more of that roaming, more of that topside focus. So you can hear Daejeon come alive as we get into game 1. Number 3 versus number 23 on the global power rankings.
I'm so scared of Peyz and Keria on Mel Camille here. Well, let's see what they do. They're bringing jungle down bottom for the early trade too.
Hook shot, wall dive in, decent damage. Halo Blade's proc, traded back for the electrocute.
So look at this, yeah. Jose's going to continue on this bottom path here. He was hovering around bottom, waited in the tri-bush, and now it's going to start on Oner's red, or even traverse all the way up to Raptors here and do the full split, trying to split the map for their Caitlyn Bard.
Can be a bit of a risky proposition, though, because, again, you mentioned it, top lane is such a volatile matchup, so while it would be fantastic for Yeon and Core to have that extra support on the bottom side, leaving Morgan isolated in that advantage with jungle support could be devastating.
Yeah, we'll see about the bottom side, though, because this does kind of play into what we talked about before. If you secure Caitlyn Bard pushing, then they're going to have safety, and it will buy you roams from Bard to go mid lane so that you can set Quid up. And that is a lot of times the real goal of Team Liquid in their games. Get Quid money, especially on champions like Akali, so that he can take over some team fights later on. But we'll see about this wave crashing as well, if Team Liquid are going to have the timer here for Jose finishing those Krugs, or if he was just going to continue splitting the map.
Yeah. But as we're checking it out, of course, if you're watching MSI, you might as well get rewarded for it. Head over to LoLEsports.com, log in with your Riot ID, and watch live for a chance to earn MSI 2026 drops. And if you're going to do it quick, because the early game already looking super explosive here. The split map, Oner looking for that invade.
Yeah, because they've had that ward on the Raptors for so long, they know. And Jose here, let's see about the contest. So he thinks Oner's going for his red first, but Oner's actually on the Raptors. He does yoink the big one.
Smite.
Couple small split.
Fighting where he can, but nice timing here. Faker also with the push in the mid lane is going to make it that much more difficult for Quid to really contest that push.
This is quite good for jungle setup here. Now, Oner does know, okay, Wukong, because he saw the CS numbers that he has, so he knows that he's taken away my bottom half of the map. So Oner immediately goes into blue side, does not waste any time. That ward is important as well in case Jose decides to cross like he is. So Oner will be alerted and is going to be able to wait. Oner does not have smite, neither does Jose.
50-50. Oner immediately retreating, and I think that's the value of that ward. Because he knows he doesn't have smite, is uncertain if Jose doesn't know if he used it on red buff, just immediately backs off.
Such a good early plan from Team Liquid. They put a lot of thought into this one, and it is going to be Oner traversing back to the other side. So Oner's like, okay, fine. Because I saw you come over here with red buff, over the ward to contest me off blue. I know your Krugs are still up too, so I will cross for top Scuttle Crab. And then he can go for those Krugs as well to keep his CS, you know, up there and not fall behind, even though it is all across the map. And our second respawns of all the jungle camps are going to be desynced. So you're seeing Jose now move in for the respawn here on Raptors number 2 to make sure that he's going to be able to take these away before Keria can come defend. And CoreJJ's here along with Quid, so they should secure them.
Checking in now. Are going to be able to secure that camp. Keria, face checking, has the hookshot wall dive just to walk away. It doesn't. Oh, Core is going to stick around. Keria stepping a little bit too far forward. Not able to get in front of that. Obviously one of the big strengths of Camille. It's pretty easy for her to get out of most situations, as Morgan's holding on the top side, has mostly been isolated in the 1v1. But Doran still pretty comfortable holding on to. It's relatively even in terms of gold overall, actually.
Yeah, and we'll see once we get a little bit more free time from the junglers and supports. And speaking of Camille support, by the way, this thing just completely took off and is so dangerous for all other lanes. Keria here takes his roam timer straight up through mid to go help Faker push out as Core is mirroring.
Oner walking forward as well. And while Team Liquid did a really good job of getting some control on the bottom side of the map, T1 doing their best to fight back here. Quid trading with Faker. Core in the area, not too concerned, still has the magical journey to make his way out. E1, sure can flip connecting on the Faker. They won't follow. T1, this has been a game where we thought it might be more about fighting in the mid lane, fighting for that flash. Instead, it's all been about fighting for camps, ensuring both junglers could get access, getting those early resources.
Good smite there, able to take away.
It's the Keria World Tour, though. This man refuses to go back to lane. He's just on his way top. Core following as well. Keria certainly favored in this 1v1, but the magical journey makes Core find his way out. Flash out from Peyz in the bottom lane. Yeon really taking control in the isolated 1v1.
Okay, he gets the push out, and there's no teleport for Peyz, so Peyz has to choose right now. Yeah, he cancels his recall because there's a big wave, and there's no cannon in that wave to soak tower shots. They also do have Oner on the bottom side, finishing up Krugs at the moment, but still, Yeon's going to be able to get money off this turret plate. Last little bit of damage from the minions.
Coming through, well calculated. Peyz just now ticking over to level 6, so has a bit of an experience advantage for now. Yeon, good vision, does see the ward drop, so can be pretty comfortable in knowing that it's Oner in the area. Right now, though, Team Liquid keeping the early game so close is a very positive sign. One of the #1 concerns when we talked about this matchup was, hey, we believe they can have a good game plan, but if it falls apart in the laning phase, that's just not really going to matter. But thus far, at least, it's just 6 minutes, but things are looking pretty even, and it's actually Team Liquid who have had better control on the bottom side, leading to them starting up this first dragon.
Let's take a look here because Morgan is kind of half walking down through river. Seems like they're going to make the call. It's fine. We've got everything under control, so Morgan can go back to his wave, and the wave in a pretty good spot for Yasuo up there on the mini-map we can see. So should be secured dragon, and Morgan with the wave in a pretty good spot. So now we're at the point, though, with level 6s for both the Akali and the Orianna, that maybe we'll look to try and blow some flashes in mid lane as well. Shockwave invested here from Faker as well as they're pushing in again.
Really just wants full control there. It's a minute until grubs are up, so they're not really playing for a bigger objective on the top side, just for mid control. And
it's interesting, too, because Raptor respawn was coming, but Oner decides, all right, I'm going to clear my own camps instead. CoreJJ is here once again to keep watch of the ever-important Raptor camps, and all has been held very, very close within jungle.
See, normally I would see Keria here and think that there might be some action about to happen, but I think both teams have been so committed to exclusively fighting over jungle camps that I feel like it's actually a sign of relative calm. Peyz, though, with this first recall back, especially with the Hextech Alternator, feeling a lot more comfortable in that 1v1 versus Yeon.
Interesting, too. If, about 50% of the duration on his flash cooldown has been expended since Yeon was able to make him use it in the 1v1. So we'll see if there is any sort of visit, since now Jose has a lot of choices. The ever important Wukong ultimate when he has flash can be very, very potent. Meanwhile, Bard getting level 6 is a great setup for that as well.
A lot of tools to kick things off. Of course, both roaming supports returning to their bot lane for a brief window of time, as we see Josedeodo can just set up for the Yasuo ultimate. Instead, going to go pick up the scraps here. Oner first on the grubs. Jose will at least grab one back. Oner debating if they want to fight for this.
Yeah, can he?
Goes in. Ooh, okay. Does not take it away. But now still wanting the 1v1. Isn't going to commit any more than just poking away at Josedeodo. I was kind of ready for a flash over the wall. I could go with a little bloodthirst at this stage of the game.
The last little bit. We're pretty, I mean, Daniel, being this even is very, very tense here as we move in. 9 minutes, 2-1 on grubs, 1 on the dragon here for Team Liquid. But nobody forcing too heavily as far as the summoner spells do go. As we said, Peyz already about a quarter left on the cooldown here for him to feel the extra safety of his flash coming back. And I think we're just going to be looking towards the next setup. Wait a second.
Yeon getting
Ghost
aggressive
use.
onto Peyz. Peyz presumably still has the rebuttal available. Nice little bit of lockdown as Keria starts to turn his focus. Golden Eclipse is there. Yeon running for his life, ticking, burning down the Ignite. Not quite going to finish him. Core now in trouble. Coming over the wall is Josedeodo. Now it's Keria. Hookshot wall dive goes in. Keria sees the angle. It's likely just a 1-for-1, but manages to bring it back. Team Liquid try to turn it. Keria happy to have that extra money. Taking Yeon out of the equation and just dancing on him a little bit. Quid at least will get the kill.
All right, let me see the replay again of that with the vision. Maybe a little zoom out here for Keria. Yeon had thought that he escaped, but Keria invests the flash. He gets the kill as he's going to go down there. First blood as well, getting the bonus.
Morgan getting the flash out. Doran didn't want to get keybladed on the top side. Thought the last breath was going to come through on the EQ, the empowered knock up as Yeon taking a bit of a chunk from Faker. But overall, good for the side of Team, bad for the side of Team Liquid that they lost Yeon there. Luckily the wave was in a terrible spot. But good for them that Quid, I think, gets the kill. Snowballing him faster to that Gunblade. Maybe can get him a bit more kill pressure. I think the reason it's a bit of a disaster, though, is remember that flash cooldown was not available.
Well, yeah, okay, so that's why they're deciding to go for us. And then they get with such low health, using the Ignite from Keria here, and the Ignite is ticking down, and then, yeah, here we go. Fog of War, what we want to see. He gets jumped on. There he is. He goes to put the trap. Yeon going to put that single trap over there. He's like, what are you doing, bro? Keria sees him. Keria gets the first blood.
And, you know, Team Liquid, they're so aware of his potential exit route. They're trying to body block to make sure he can't jump back. But they didn't have an angle to stop him from jumping onto Yeon.
It's so clean with his hookshot and his flash right there from Keria to close that distance. Jeez.
And now you start to feel a little bit nervous because an accelerated Camille still has a lot of kill pressure, and now the Hextech ultimatum is available. We're not afraid to walk up here, but T1 getting what they can is they're going to go for it one more time. They know Yeon doesn't have any resources. The ulti's a little too late. Keria frozen, golden, but the damage is just not there. Hextech ultimatum to try and walk it off. Nice binding coming in from Core. One more auto to Peyz. They might be able to get it done. They're so low, but it's just a barn. The rebuttal is there. Keria and Peyz making it out as the fight on the top side breaks out. Quid recognizes this is a window of opportunity to try to get something back, but Team Liquid walking away empty-handed.
Yeah, under tower here, and Camille ult invested from T1. Keria and Peyz pull it off. Meanwhile,
knock up there, Cyclone as well. Oner the shockwave going a little bit wide. Oner trying to turn it back with an ulti of his own. Josedeodo able to grab the kill. Faker flashing over the wall. R2 comes in from Quid. It's going to take him a lot of time to finish off Faker, but there's no mana there. Catalyst, though, going to give him a little bit back every time he takes damage. Now Quid not certain if he can get this one. Double kill for Faker. Not what you want to see, especially as Yeon is fighting for his life. Dodges the snare, dodges the wall dive. Keria forced to walk this one out. The extra shield coming in, and this is just bullying. T1 bottom lane will not let Yeon play the game.
They see Core on the roam, and they say, we're gonna dive again. T1 making it happen across the map in the skirmishes. It was quiet for a while, Dracos. It was close for a while, but T1 now exploding. Let's take another look at this bottom side dive that they did go for. Keria with his level 6. So he goes in, gets a hook shot stun here onto Yeon. They get him so low, and then there you go. Bard ultimate not going to do much for them, even though the trap was down there. No tower aggro, and so on the backside, the little skirmish here as Jose and Quid wanted to take down Oner. They do take him down, but then Faker can flash here to pick up the kill onto Jose. And then, as you say, he just takes it.
Yep. Just has more HP, right? And this is where the Catalyst is so nice, because it really looks like he's out of mana, but every time you hit him, you give him a little bit more, just enough for one more cooldown. Allows him to finish out that 1v1. And it's a bit devastating for TL. Again, we praise them. We're keeping it close, keeping it steady in the early game, but the second Keria, you know, starts getting active, has access to that ult to drop tower aggro, really starts to take over. Morgan doing pretty well in the isolated 1v1, did solo force out Doran's flash, but because the rest of the map is hurting, I think it's kind of tough for Jose to get the time to really go up topside.
Meanwhile, Oner gonna take the priority that his bottom lane has been able to secure, and actually the lane swap as well from Team Liquid. The opportunity here for T1 to take Dragon, while Team Liquid have 3 people trying to push Doran off, and Doran pays the appropriate amount of respect on the weak side while his team gets the objective.
Weak side tax now 1-1, and Dragons will be the Mountain Soul coming through. Extra walls for the Camille, not what you want to see. Is now lockup is there. Keria in the immediate area. Doran locked up. That's the last breath coming in for Morgan. Lower and lower is Keria's health bars. Josedeodo blinking from the Ignite, but will manage to make it out. Magical Journey out for 3. Doran coming through, fishing for the setup, and the knockup is there! Just in time to steal Tempest. The Eclipse will not be blocked by the wind wall, however. Quid is caught out, likely now to fall. T1 immediately respond to the topside play with some action of their own in the bottom lane.
Another one for Faker. Shockwave used, they get the kill. Oner with the chase down, and they're gonna use this time to counter jungle as well. Take away some extra resources here. Bottom tower being whittled down, and T1 have successfully been able to take away the blue before Jose gets there.
Wandering in, won't be able to get anything else. Jose now on the chase in the bottom lane. We saw Faker in the previous play burn flash. There's an angle of attack here. Magical Journey through. Team Liquid have to be careful not to overcommit. They don't want to risk anything as Faker's just going to continue to run away with the movement speed steroid from the dissonance. Overall, good discipline from Faker not to back too soon to make sure he has a successful retreat.
Yeah, that Orianna is fairly rich. Faker shockwaves are going to be very painful here as we get on into the game. Peyz as well with 7 stacks on his Dark Seal is going to be able to burst people very quickly. Topside, they're going for a kind of a half dive onto Quid.
Mostly just chunking him out for now. Doran goes back to mini. Good damages. Nope, it's a full dive. Faker there just in time, uses the TP. And unfortunately, this reality of playing against this T1 lineup is once they start upping the pace of the game, they really don't stop. Team Liquid have not been in a position where they can really set up stable lanes. Quid's supposed to be stronger in the 1v1, never got to burn that flash early, isolated and focused down, and it's a similar story for the bottom lane. While they were ahead early, once Keria started forcing those dives, it's just been all in T1's favor.
Meanwhile, on the side of Team Liquid, they did get the double kill onto Morgan from the top side play, so he at the very least here, the Yasuo has some damage, went with the early Kraken. And now Team Liquid with the early reset here. 3 people trying to take over another set of Raptors.
Raptors' #1 objective in the game League of Legends is he's waiting off to the side of Josedeodo. Excellent backstep to get away from most of the cooldowns there, but now he has been locked up. Tempered Fate, but I don't know if this is where Jose wants to be. Spinning through, forced to flash over the wall, flash over the wall. Core still getting caught up, still getting rooted. A little bit more health coming through, but the Eclipse takes him down.
More stacks for Peyz as well. Okay, here we go. Now Rift Herald used immediately to take down this mid tower.
Mounted up. Yeah, don't want to give them any more time to farm. 2K lead in mid lane. All the AP carries so far ahead. And as long as they keep hard forcing these fights, they force Morgan to come to show up for his team. That side lane advantage doesn't exist as Doran. This man can drive a Herald. Respect to him.
2 for 2 on outside towers, taken with the Herald. They get both of them there. T1 now have a lot of room to work with on the map.
That they do. And one of the hardest things about playing against this double AP carries is you don't really have that tanky front line. Wukong gets a lot of natural armor. You can see that Core is doing his best to mitigate that upfront burst with a locket, just to get a small buff on this patch, but just for his personal stats. While Peyz and Faker, they're getting to that one-shot territory, and when you're backed up by a Camille, it gets a lot easier to hit your skill shots.
It certainly does. Definitely one of the huge benefits.
Daejeon. Camille is here. That was basically a solo kill. Keria coming in, getting a little bit more money for himself, but Peyz, that was some disgusting damage.
He's got 6 seconds left on his ultimate, so definitely worth there for Keria. Goes in, gets some money himself too. This Camille support is so crazy with Bloodsong. Like, Bloodsong enables so much of it, but yeah, his Sundered Sky being completed, and Keria wants a wraparound maybe here. They've got 4 people from T1 still in the area. That ward DCM.
There you go. Starts things off. Does not have access to the ultimate. Well-timed Shuriken flip means Quid can immediately dive in, but in the midst of the fight, it's Morgan looking for the last breath. Rebuttal from Peyz doesn't block a whole lot of damage, so maybe they can turn it back, but Peyz the flash out! The Eclipse to grab a few more. Quid now on the chase. He's so desperate to get anything done. The Shuriken flip, he will at least get 1, but it's still the 2 for 3 trade in favor of T1.
Yeah, Team Liquid, they're scrambling on the map here to try and get some kills back for themselves, but the whole time, Doran was just working away the bottom tower, so as the scrapping continues in the jungle, T1 are going to get the bottom tower.
On here as well, but again, 5,000 gold deficit. They've laid down the traps. Oner is still fine. He's still going to walk away, and there is still a Gnar in their bottom lane breaking structures. Team Liquid grasping at straws, trying to force something in their favor. Oner, so much healing coming through the Sundered Sky. The red buff, the shielding, it's just too much.
Oh man, Yeon was over there trying to kill a ward. CoreJJ was still trying to keep the play going.
Oh man.
Oner just turns on him with Faker there for the backup. And it is all T1 now, Daniel.
Yeah, that it is, Kobe. And again, some of the early moments respectable for TL, but at this point, they kind of just need to keep throwing those Hail Marys. Shockwave does miss, but again, it doesn't matter. They're just so far ahead that they can miss 1 or 2 cooldowns. The Camille alone with these items, so accelerated. Such a comfortable position to just force these dives on an isolated Yeon.
Yeah, they are making it look good here. IG Camille is my favorite, by the way.
IG Camille? Yeah.
Definitely a very fun one. It should be a pretty easy dragon for T1. They can take it whenever they feel like it. Oner's going to finish up his blue first.
There's a lot of things on the map, I think, that are pretty easy for T1 right now. Take a look at that coin-based gold grind, of course. You see just some massive advantages for the side of T1 overall. Really no surprise there.
Yeah, I mean, the world champions always was going to be a very difficult matchup here for Team Liquid, but top side.
For the solo. Lock up there on the Faker. He's tanky with the Seraphs as well, but they've got enough damage. Shutdown is huge. It costs them the Dragon, but 1,000 gold in the Quid's pocket definitely makes it a worthwhile trade.
Definitely has been something a lot of teams have done. Look for Faker for isolated kills here. And Team Liquid, even though they're so far down, like you're saying, getting bounties is the critical part in trying to hope for a comeback. Jose was looking for a little bit more, but Keria is so dangerous now on this Camille support. He's going to chase them off as Oner is also following.
This is the dream situation to be in when you're Camille support. You're so far ahead, and the looming threat of your team is so great that you can walk into 2 people and play like this and get an ulti. The slow from the tactical sweep stops it from connecting, and now Doran is on the chase. Doran, who's been farming in the side lane the entire time. Luckily, they have access to the magical journey. Hope from Peyz not there, but T1 asserting dominance on the top side of the map. I don't know if they're going to immediately rush the Baron. They certainly have the gold advantage, the game state advantage, but without a traditional AD carry, it might still take a bit of time.
And they do have a few more seconds on Keria's ultimate here, so you have a really good turn once you have Keria's ultimate ready. They very well could, start up objectives and look for the turn right off it, get that Keria engaged with the Camille ult, the guaranteed damage for the rest of the teammates following in. So definitely just go for the reset, get back out on the map. Faker's going to take care of the bottom side wave first. And Faker himself getting even more tanky. Got the arm guard ready here for an extra stasis usage. Plus his flash will be up fairly shortly too. Once that happens, T1 teamfight is just going to be insane. So they can definitely force at that moment.
Team Liquid not able to find the time to force before those 3rd or 2nd and a half item completions. You can see Peyz now has an hourglass of his own as well. So we'll need to fight on 2 items, but the IE is at least there for Yeon. Courtesy of the 1,000 gold on the top side, Quid is able to get the Lich Bane completed along with an additional Hextech alternator. So there's some hope, there's some angles, but really hard to get that ideal dream teamfight setup, that flank for Akali or maybe for Jose on the Wukong when T1 just have such oppressive vision control.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, stasis on both the targets that they would be looking to flank and kill. So you have to do things like kind of have multi-step engages and, maybe you get something out first with a Bard ultimate. But here comes the invade from T1.
Core spots them. Stun does not connect. Core still locked up for a brief moment. Puts himself in the stasis, but all of T1 is here to respond. Core instantaneous flash out. T1 chipping away at the cooldowns for Team Liquid. Flash over the wall from Jose. 3-man immediate cycle involved is there for Morgan. Maybe they can get a little bit more done. Morgan immediately going to backstep. Quid dashing through the entire team with the R1. The Eclipse, good damage back, but Doran there just in time to turn the play on its head. A beautiful Gnar. Yeon nowhere left to run. T1 take 4, and Keria is looking to make it 5. CoreJJ running out of options. The shield from the adaptive defensive mitigating what little damage he has. Maybe the movement speed is enough, but the rest of the team already setting their sights on Baron. Core, supportal combat. Keria's there, has the healing, the Sundered Sky. It's an extended fight, but that's the ace.
And that was about as good of an engage as you're going to get on Team Liquid. And T1 still able to survive and weather the storm. Peyz does go down. They get the 1 kill. But T1, they're going to get the Baron plus all the extra gold of the full ace.
And now it's so difficult, right? Yes, it takes them more time to finish this Baron without a traditional AD carry, but once they have it, they have so much range with the threat from this Mel, the dive threat. Team Liquid going to do their best to hold on, but at a 10K deficit, it's going to be difficult to navigate a way back into this game.
All right, so let's take a look at the engage from Jose on the bottom side of the map. He's going to be looking over here at the clump of champions to try and get multiple members. And he does get the dream. You got both Peyz and Faker and Keria into the Morgan knockup as well. But then look how they survive. The double stasis, and then they're able to have Doran use the ultimate, peel against the wall right here, crushing from T1.
Bard ulti. Locking up Keria, trap not quite in the right spot as they're desperate to hold on. The rebuttal, finding the stun, immediate flash out from Yeon. Winwell there to stop any other follow-up, and now Team Liquid forced to retreat here. T1 knocking on the base, soon to be knocking on the Nexus. Quid recalling, maybe they try to make a stand here, but again, it is just so difficult. Doran looking to go in, manages to make the combo come through! The assist, Faker setting him up. Now Keria diving in. Quid locked down for a moment, but he's in the circle. Josedeodo coming in as well. Morgan gonna get the ulti off. Quid finding one in the midst of the fight. Ace in the hole coming through too. Quid living far too long for T1's liking, but it does not matter. Oner is too powerful. R flash to make it through. Josedeodo locked up and Faker is still standing. Double for Oner. Looking to make it 3, but instead it's the double for Faker. It's T1 look to close out game 1.
Yeah, it's gonna be Oner and Faker alone at the Nexus Towers in game number 1.
Powerful stuff from T1, drawing first blood in this series. A calm, a slow early game for the first few minutes, but once they upped the tempo, they simply never stopped. Team Liquid sent back to the drawing board as Core also maybe going to fall here, but you can see the confidence from T1. They're taking their time. They know they've earned it in this game 1 as they get first blood in the series.
Looking good in game number 1, the world champions here in Daejeon. The opening game of MSI, and they take it.
What a game, what a dominant game.